Hi, welcome to Unity 5 Fundamentals, Creating 3D Objects. This section consists of hands-on experience with creating basic shapes, customizing 3D objects, and scripting 3D objects. In this video, we will explore basic shape creation. Our discussion of 3D objects will include steps to create 3D objects using only Unity 5 and no external tools. We will also make modifications to the objects we create by modifying their size, shape, position, and orientation. Finally, we will manipulate our 3D objects to become familiar enough to start creating 3D objects for games we build with Unity. Okay, let's launch Unity. I created a new project and called it Basic Shapes. You can see here in Scene View the only things that are present is a main camera and a directional light. Both of these objects are located in the hierarchy view as well. We will leave those alone for now and start creating our 3D objects. We're going to start by clicking the Game Object menu item and then 3D Object, and then here you can see over to the right a list of all the 3D objects we can create by using Unity. We're concerned with the first 5 on this list, so let's create those now. I'm going to click Cube and a cube will appear. I'm just going to use my left mouse button, click that object and move it over to the left to get it out of the way, and we'll deal with that again a little bit later. Again, Game Object, 3D Object, Sphere. Move that one over to the left as well. Game Object, 3D Object, Capsule. That one will move over to the right. Game Object, 3D Object, Cylinder. Again, move that one over to the right. And finally, Game Object, 3D Object, Plane. Now leave the plane selected. You can see a couple of shadows from some of the objects already instantiated because we have directional light in the scene. Our plane is selected and we see 3 widgets, red, green, and blue, each one for a different axis, X, Y, or Z. We have the translate tool selected, so clicking on any of those gizmos and dragging will move the 3D object along that axis. If we change the transform tool to the scale tool, which is the 4th from the left, you can see the gizmos change to little boxes. Now when we click and drag, we will actually change the scale of the object. And I'm going to make this bigger, simulate that as a floor. And now I'm going to go back to the translate tool so I can move it just a little bit more to get better coverage. There we go. Now let's select the cube. Select the cube. I'm going to click and drag it. You can see you have full control of where it is. You can use the gizmos. And we'll move it just so we can see the shadow. I can click on the orb here, and if I click the rotate tool, you can see that the gizmos are now bands around it, and I can rotate it. Not that it makes a tremendous amount of difference depending on the face of the orb, because it is a circle or a ball. You can also see over on the right side in the inspector view, watch the transform section as I rotate this 3D object. You can see that it dynamically changes. Of course, if you know the values that you want, you can type them in there directly. Here's our capsule. And when I select it, you can see that half of it is under the ground, and we'll fix that. I also want to point out that in the hierarchy view, you can see that the default names were assigned, and there it says capsule. And when I selected it, it was also selected in hierarchy view. Over in the inspector view, I'm going to change the name of the capsule and call it force field. We can use capsules as invisible force fields for our characters. I hit return, and you can see that it was updated in the hierarchy view. So now we're going to use the translate tool, again the second button from the left, and we're going to raise that above the ground. There we go. And we'll scoot it back a little bit to get it out of the way. So now we can use the hierarchy view. Select the cube, the sphere, force field, the cylinder. Let's bring that over into view. And then the plane. Now with the plane selected, I'm going to go to the inspector view, and under mesh renderer, I'm going to click materials. And then here it says default material for element 0, and I'm going to click the little circle to the right of that, and I'm going to pick this first black color as a material, and you can see that it colored the mesh. If I click off of it, you can see that we've covered things up, so we need to lower it down, and we're doing that using the translate tool to make sure that we're beneath all the elements. And I'm going to zoom out so I can scoot it underneath. And it can take a little while to become used to 3D space, but you will, in no time at all, get lots of practice and become very good at it. And there are the objects that we created. In this video, we created basic shapes with the native tools. We created a cube, a sphere, a capsule, a cylinder, and a plane. Using the transform tools, we modified and manipulated the 3D objects. As a review, we used the hand tool, the translate tool, rotate tool, scale tool, and the rect tool.